from Western Service. I've got your March Tech Tip, and we're just going to talk about your hydraulic disc brakes and what we're looking for when you bring your bike in to see us. So when you bring your bike in, one of the first things we're going to do is pop it up on the stand, and as we're chatting with you, we're going to go and take a look at several different parts of the bike. When it comes to disc brakes, we're normally going to do a few things. We're going to check to see how the lever feels. We're going to take a look at the thickness of your pads. So for your disc brake pads, there's lots of different ways to check. People will give you all sorts of different measurements, usually using a digital micrometer. We are a little lower tech. We want your disc brake pads to be as thick as the tip of this here Western Cycle ballpoint pen. If you don't have a Western Cycle ballpoint pen, a regular ballpoint pen will do. It just won't take it. So when we're booking the bike in, we may use a flashlight if it works. If it doesn't, you may see a blooper reel where I throw a flashlight away. But when we look down inside, we're just checking right here to make sure your pads look thick enough. Okay, if we're not sure, we'll probably tell you we might. The other one is there's a minimum thickness requirement for your brake rotor. This metal surface that the rotor runs, that the brake pads run on. Unless it looks super worn, we're not going to measure it up. The techs will almost always measure it down below. The only time we'll skip it is if it's obviously worn. If your brake pads need replacement, we'll have to check a couple things. The first one is that we have the right pad shape, and have the right pad material, and that there's no restrictions on your rotor. Okay. This brake rotor, for example, says on it, for resin pads only. This means it's a softer metal. It makes for a less expensive rotor, and also way mature. We'll almost always, if we have to replace this rotor, get one up that's a little harder material that you can run any brake pad you want on. That was great coffee. All right, when we're replacing your brake pads, the last thing we'll talk about here is just materials. So you can see there's different shapes for different types of brakes. There's also different materials. There's a softer brake pad, usually called either resin or organic. These grab really well. They're a little quieter, but if you're a fan of cheeseburgers, as I am, you may wear these out there. There's ones that are generally called metallic or sintered. These guys are a little harder. They stand up to higher temperatures, but they can be a little noisier. For a fellow like me, it's my brake pad of choice. And then lastly, we have specialty brake pads. So these ones are an e-bike specific brake pad, hence the purple color. They're kind of metallic on steroids because they're meant to stop a 60-pound bike that's doing 30 kilometers an hour all the time. Or you can see other ones that will have heat sinks equipped. Shimano makes quite a few, and even aftermarket companies like Jaguar make brake pads that are designed to help with brake heat away from your brake system. We stock a wide variety of pad materials and pad shapes. You could normally swap out your pads pretty much on the spot. So this has been your March Tech Tip from John here at Western Service. If you really want to stop your bike, come on down and see us.